Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the January 29th, 2022 special edition of The Breast There Is, The Breast There Was, and The Breast There Ever Will Be Wrestling Podcast. As always, I am your host, Mikey B, WWE, and today's special podcast is devoted to tonight's pay-per-view event, one of the big four, one of the greatest ones of all time, the Royal Rumble. I personally love the Royal Rumble match. It's my favorite match of the year, every single year. And we've been treated over the last 4 years now to have both a men's and women's Royal Rumble match at the annual Royal Rumble pay-per-view. So we've been getting 2 Rumble matches every single year for the last 4 years, which is excellent. The Royal Rumble, of course, always has a lot of twists and turns because it's such a pivotal event in the lead up to WrestleMania, which, as any WWE fan knows, is the biggest event of the calendar year in WWE. So Royal Rumble has a huge level of importance going into the show. On the card on WWE.com, there are 6 matches listed on the match card, and on the website it says in brackets so far. We've definitely seen this before, and today is the day. This is the day of the show, so. This is what I have to go with, the 6 matches they have listed here. So we have the 2 Rumble matches and 4 other matches on the card. Let's begin with the predictions for the first match here, which is Edge and his wife Beth Phoenix taking on The Miz and his wife Maurice. I personally feel like this is a feud that is going to carry over to WrestleMania, with at least between the Edge and The Miz. And I think that's almost like a locked and loaded WrestleMania matchup, Edge versus Miz. So to create some extra interest in this feud, I think The Miz and Maurice are going to do something pretty sneaky and get the victory here, and that will help fuel the fire here needed for this program leading into WrestleMania. So I think The Miz and Maurice are going to steal one tonight over Edge and Beth Phoenix and get the win. I think it would be a stretch to say that they would do this rematch at WrestleMania. I think it's more likely that we'll see a one-on-one Edge versus Miz, maybe some other kind of stipulation involved. But regardless, for my predictions for tonight, I'm picking The Miz and Maurice to be victorious over Edge and Beth Phoenix. The second match on the card is for the Raw Women's Championship match, featuring champion Becky Lynch taking on Doudrop. I think, unfortunately, we're not going to see many belts change hands tonight, maybe none at all, as I unfold my predictions here. I don't think Becky Lynch's her spot as champion is not going to change at all until WrestleMania at the very earliest. I think she's too hot as a heel, and she just has the pedigree. She's won so many times. Doudrop is new to WWE, so I don't see this happening just yet. But this could be the early stages of a feud leading to WrestleMania. It's kind of difficult to say which ones are locked and loaded for WrestleMania feuds already that we've been introduced to versus ones that might sort of peter off, and there'll be new ones in the ensuing months before Mania. But I don't think, regardless if this feud carries on or not, I think Becky Lynch will retain her Raw Women's Championship, probably in a sneaky way, just like The Miz and Maurice getting their victory. So Becky Lynch is my pick to retain the Raw Women's Championship. The third match on the card is for the Universal Championship, with the champions Roman Reigns taking on Seth frickin' Rollins. This one definitely has a bit of a WrestleMania feel. And it makes me wonder that if this is a match or a program, a feud that's going to continue until WrestleMania. It's really difficult to say because the Royal Rumble match has such a great impact on the major feuds for the top titles heading into WrestleMania. So it's really difficult to say. But similarly to the last match with Becky Lynch, I don't see her holding the title changing until Mania at the earliest. I gotta say the same thing with Roman Reigns. The guy's been holding the belt since August of 2020. He's been holding it a long time. If they're gonna do a drop with him with the belt, I see WrestleMania as that time. not before, and I'm not even sure who it'll be at the hands at it. It may or may not be Seth Rollins, but something tells me there might be some other people in the title picture come WrestleMania time. But regardless, for my prediction tonight, I have Roman Reigns retaining the Universal Championship over Seth frickin' Rollins. And the fourth match on the card is for the WWE Championship. And we have the champion Brock Lesnar taking on Bobby Lashley. This is also, I would say, another WrestleMania caliber type of matchup. The WWE Championship picture really changed wildly in the last month. At WWE's last pay-per-view, Day 1, which was on New Year's Day, at the start of this year, Brock Lesnar was supposed to square off against Roman Reigns for the Universal Championship, but Roman Reigns had COVID-19, so he was unable to compete, and they put Brock Lesnar into the Fatal 4-Way match for the WWE Championship and made it a Fatal 5-Way, I guess, and he prevailed and won the whole thing. So it makes you wonder if they scrapped some plans that they had for the WWE Championship before they inserted Brock Lesnar into that Fatal 5-Way match at Day 1. I do think this is an evolving story, and I don't think that it would be wise for them to make Brock Lesnar, after having him join that Fatal 5-Way, beating all those guys, winning the belt less than a month ago. I think it would not be wise for him to lose the belt so quickly. Brock Lesnar, of course, has a reputation for being one of the most dominant wrestlers in the WWE, really in its history. So him losing at Royal Rumble in a one-off match versus Bobby Lashley, I don't see that happening. And another thing that's interesting, worth noting too, because heading into that match at Day 1, I thought that Bobby Lashley would, since he had just returned, I thought he would be victorious over the other three in the original proposed Fatal 4-Way match. So I do think Bobby Lashley is primed to win this WWE Championship again, certainly this year, but certainly it's a question of when that's going to happen. So I don't see Bobby Lashley winning it tonight. I think Brock Lesnar will retain, and we're going to see what happens in the Rumble matches, the winners. This is going to have a big impact on the title scenes because we don't know who the winners are going to choose which title from each respective show. But for the WWE Championship tonight, my pick is going with Brock Lesnar retaining. But I could easily see this program between these two guys carrying over to WrestleMania time, and knowing the WWE, they might insert another person or two to make it a triple threat or Fatal 4-Way. But Lesnar is my pick to retain the WWE Championship. Now let's move on to the two Rumble matches, which hopefully will be the main events, but they might also spread them out over the course of the card tonight. Let's start with the 30-man Royal Rumble match for the men. This one, I think, is coming down. In my mind, I have it between two people. I think it's either going to come down to Drew McIntyre or Big E to be the victor here. Drew McIntyre, I think, from a storyline perspective standpoint, makes the most sense because he was just out with an injury. He's going to come back when he's healthy, which I'm guessing will be tonight. And then he's already made himself locked in as a main event caliber guy continuously. So I do think Drew McIntyre is going to have a prominent place in the WrestleMania card. But he also just won the Rumble match 2 years ago. Very few competitors have won the match more than once. I'm not sure if it's a great idea to give him a second win twice in 3 years. Something doesn't sit well with me on that. So for me, that's why I'm ultimately choosing Big E to win and get himself back into the title scene at Mania. He had a rather short run with his very first championship, and I think he certainly deserves another go at it. Having said that, I think both Big E and Drew McIntyre, both of these guys are going to be in the title pictures in 2022 and will probably both win a belt. But for prediction-wise, I think Big E should probably win, so Drew McIntyre doesn't win his second one in 3 years. So Big E is my selection for the men's Royal Rumble match. And now moving on to the final match of the 6, the 30 women Royal Rumble match. This one is also, there's a few people, of course, that it will be between, and I should also add that it's very difficult to choose who I think out of 30 people in each match will be victorious, when normally I just have to choose between one person versus another for most matches. And also on top of that, we don't know, there's surprise guest entrants every year in Royal Rumble matches, so we don't know who's going to come in and possibly, change the whole outcome of the whole thing. Like Drew McIntyre, for instance, as I mentioned in the last one, I have him as a heavy favorite to be to either win it or be a finalist, but he's not someone that's advertised in the match yet. So that's why picking the winner for these matches is very, very difficult. I'll be happy if I get one of the two. And if I get two, that'd be fantastic. So that said, for the women's match, there's a couple people who I think are certainly right in the line there to who will be in the title pictures probably at WrestleMania. The first one I have to mention is Sasha Banks. She's been a title contender for years now. I am ultimately not going to select Sasha because I don't want to see her feud with Charlotte Flair again. We've seen that a lot in recent years for titles. And I just think it wouldn't be very wise to have her win and go up against Charlotte Flair again. I just think it doesn't sit well with me, so I'm not choosing Sasha Banks, though I do think she will find her way into a top title picture regardless of her performance tonight. So Sasha Banks is one of those top contenders, but I'm not choosing her. Another one who is also just such a perennial threat, and she's one of the best female wrestlers ever in the WWE, Natalya. She's someone, and I suppose I have a bit of a personal bias for rooting for her, but she's always been so reliable and one of the top technical female wrestlers in the company's history. She hasn't been rewarded as much as I feel that she should be over the years, just because of her association with the Hart family, and of course Vince and Bret Hart had many issues for many years, which I do believe had an unfair impact on Natty's career. But she's someone I would love to see win because she's been so great for so long and has never won the Rumble match, and I would love to see her win, but I just don't see it in the WWE choosing her to win it and have a main event spot at Mania. Now moving on to who I do think the company is going to give the push to is someone who I feel like they've been giving her a push for a little while, and I think tonight is the perfect time to move her into the WrestleMania main event, which is Liv Morgan. Liv Morgan is who I think is going to win the 30 women Royal Rumble tonight. I think the company is going to give her a run with one of the belts soon. So she, to me, makes the most sense. There's obviously a lot of other great competitors in there, like Bianca Belair, Shayna Baszler. There's so many really strong female competitors, but Liv Morgan, I think she might be the one Rumble winner this year who is truly going to get that catapult to WrestleMania and beyond. In other years, that's a lot of the times who I think that the company winds up choosing is someone that they feel they want to launch them now into the upper echelon, the top superstar status, main event status. In the men's match, I think, of course, when I'm choosing either Big E or Drew McIntyre and ultimately settling on Big E, both of these guys have been in the main event, have held the top title before. So it's not technically like a brand new shoot to superstardom for either of them, but I do think they're going to go that route with the women's match. So that's why I feel Liv Morgan I like that pick, and I'm going with her. So there you are, folks. Those are the 6 matches for tonight's Royal Rumble pay-per-view card. Like I said, this pay-per-view I look forward to every year. The match itself, the Royal Rumble matches themselves are so great. They're always one of my favorite matches every single year. So I know we're going to get a good show tonight. So hopefully it's very entertaining. And as usual, they have a lot of twists and turns. And hopefully we have a good show there. So to quickly run down my picks again for who I feel will be victorious in all the matches, I have The Miz and Maurice. I have Becky Lynch, Roman Reigns, Brock Lesnar, Big E for winning the men's Rumble match, and Liv Morgan winning the women's Rumble match. So there you are, folks. Hope you liked what you heard, and don't forget to like and subscribe to my YouTube channel below if you enjoyed it. Thanks very much for listening, and see you next time.